Alrighty. How is everybody doing today? So, I was going to work with the car today, and one of my students was kind of explaining to me, they were having issues with working on a face and things like that. And so I figured I would just explain the workflow process. And I actually wanted to build a human figure for my Cyberpunk, so I'm going to explain my process here. And so I've just created a cube here. Nothing, fancy. It's, I want probably about 10 sides on it. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller from that standpoint. And so turn it into a nettable poly. And I'm actually going to, didn't need that many polys. Actually, I'm only going to use part of it. So I'm going to actually only use the top part of it here. And I'm going to actually not delete it like this. But I'm going to grab this and go out of here. And I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees in the y-axis. Actually, negative 90. There we go. And I'm going to go into my effect pivot, and I'm going to move my pivot kind of centered like this. And so what the student was kind of not complaining about, was just kind of worried about, was the simple fact that they were having issues modeling a face. And they said, they spent like a month on the face, and it was way too many polygons. It was really kind of they were struggling. They were frustrated. They were struggling, and so they were just having issues with They felt like, they put all this time and they put all this work into a face, and in the end it didn't do what they wanted to do. So I'm just going to grab just real quick clip face I found online here, something like this, and I'm going to start modeling it. Now, normally you guys should set up references, and I can do that, but I'm not. You know what? Actually, I'll do that real quick. So I'm just going to save this off to my desktop real quick as face, and I'm going to create a plane. We're going to go like nothing like that, and we're going to go front and so, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to just grab this material and dump it on there real quick. Go into bitmap and desktop, and it's going to be the face, and I'm going to apply it to that. And oops, need to show said face, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they even have that in there. So, and then I'm going to go into the object properties here, and I'm going to show frozen in gray, and I'm actually freeze it and say okay. So that one is kind of built off there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this piece here, and we're going to rotate this in the z-axis 90 degrees. There we go. And we're going to go back here, go back to front, and back here. Okay, so with this in place, I'm going to just grab this object here, and I'm going to go into edit poly here, and I'm just going to grab this and scale it bigger. And so, a lot of times everyone overthinks this. They really do. They tend to really put in. They think about too much about geometry. They think about too much about all this stuff that basically kind of comes with a face, and they think about the head, and they go really kind of, not, I won't say crazy on it, but they overthink it, and it's not something that should be how to explain it, putting too much thought into one object, one thing, basically makes you lose sight of everything else. Worrying about the amount of geometry that you have in something, worrying about all these little things, basically causes more issues than it's worth. So the explanation of this is, if you're going to do something like this, think about it from as simple as a prospect as possible. And so when I do this, so I've got object 1 right there, and I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to just copy it, undo, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to move in, let's rotate something like this, and I'm only going to worry about half the face, and I'm going to delete the first half, and I'm going to go into not extrude, I'm going to go into the vertice, and I'm going to grab these two vertices, and I'm going to scale them tight, and I'm going to move them dead center, and then I'm going to start basically kind of building up the basic shape. And that's really all that I'm thinking about. Like, I'm not thinking about head. I'm not even thinking about other types of, or other places of creation. I'm just thinking about the basics. And as you can see, the basics basically just entail me kind of following a curve line of said shape. So there is that. So that one's done, and then I'm going to go into the top level. I'm going to grab this, I'm going to hold shift down, and I'm going to do this again. And so as you can see, all I'm doing is creating different pieces, different parts that will ultimately end up it'll end up so that I can do this. Now, I'm going to do one more thing here. So I've got my face. I'm going to go edge. Oops. And so I'm going to bring up this picture of edge loops. And I'm going to bring this picture up here. And just so you get a feeling of where I'm going with it. So I'm taking this and I'm building around it. I'm building the concept around that particular geometry. And so this is going to be moved up here. This is going to be moved over here, like so. I'm going to do something like that. And so essentially, I have just basically created an edge loop for this. Now, I don't have a side of her face. I'm not going to go look for one. Just it's not necessarily worth it. And the reason it's not worth it is because in a matter of a few minutes, I can actually kind of create what I need to do. So here's this edge loop, and I'm going to grab this edge loop here, and I'm going to actually hit OK on the copy, and I'm going to actually do this. So I'm going to bring this down here, something along the lines of like this, and then I'm going to bring this one up like so, and I'm going to bring something like that. So now I have an edge loop for the face like that. And then before I do any more on this, I'm going to grab this again, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to go into the vertice level again, and again I'm going to go into building a really simple, really easy kind of edge loop for the face. So I've got the overall edge loop, I've got the edge loop for the eyes, I've got an edge loop for the nose, and I've got an edge loop for the muscles in the face here, and I've got an edge loop for the lips. And so that is that. I'm going to go into the 2-panel mode here real quick. And so this one is front, there we go, and then this one is going to be viewport, we'll do left. And so again, I'm going to just remove my grid so you guys can see. So with my face in mind, and I'm just going to kind of see where this is, so let's shift that. This one's viewport right. Okay. So now with this in mind, you know what, maybe I will grab a side face. No, I won't. I don't need it. Okay, so with this in mind, I'm going to grab these pieces. So I'm going to go here, top level, grab this. Mouth is roughly here. This edge loop right here is something like this. So what I'm going to do is, looking at this here, I'm going to kind of emulate that, the side edge loop here. So I'm going to basically move that to the front. So what I'm going to do is go into vertice level here, and actually, you know what? Go into top view, rotate. Grab this piece here, rotate slightly. Grab this one here, push forward, rotate slightly. Kind of put that up there. Grab this one here, rotate it slightly. So you can see here, I've basically just kind of created this entire edge loop system here, and I've got this set up. So I've got this so that it makes a little bit more sense for my edge loops, right? And so with this in mind, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to just zoom up into the face here, like so. I'm going to zoom up into the mouth, and I'm going to get this kind of set up. So mouth, the lips always kind of push forward. This is actually kind of forward. These two are going to kind of push back. Probably something like, let's see if I can grab those two, kind of something like that. So here is my lip facing, if you will. And then what I'm going to do is go to edge mode. I just hit 3, and I'm going to ring that, and I'm going to hit connect once, and I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm just slightly going to push that one out a little bit, and this one back in. And so with those simple commands, I now have, lo and behold, I have a mouth. Okay? Let's do the eye next. So the eye is, bam, here we go. So the eye, we're going to move this forward. The eye is slightly rotated, so we're going to have something like that. And this is where I'm going to go into the ring modes here. And I'm going to ring it, and I'm going to connect it, and I'm going to, actually before I do that, let's undo this. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing kind of the location of everything. So here, I'm going to move the brow forward. Ta-da. I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to move this forward, like so. And then I'm going to grab this, all of this, and I'm going to start pulling that back. Then that's going to give me a little bit of room for the eyes. So I'm going to make the eye like so. And actually, you know, sometimes I know a lot of people really kind of want some form in there. So you can create an eye. And what I do with the eye is I actually bring its segments down to like 16. And that gives you kind of the idea of pupil iris. And you can actually hit X-ray on it. Oops. X-ray on it. And so you can actually see that it lines up really pretty solid. So I'm going to move that up forward. And let's actually freeze that so that's in place. And then I'm going to grab this and start kind of making sure, and this is where your perspective mode would usually come in, but I'm going to just show you guys real quick here. So I've got the eye in kind of the location I need it, and I just need to go into modify, and let's connect that now. And so with that little connect, I'm going to just pull that back, and by pulling that back, I now create kind of the eye socket. And realize that none of this at this point in time is kind of a final stage of things. It's more or less just kind of a place to put things. So then I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to grab like so, and let's go into the top level here, and I'm going to just start pulling some of this back here. We pull this up here like this, pull this up like so, and I'm just tweaking right now, so I'm not worried about any kind of variable fact here. And let's pull this up a little bit. I'm going to grab this, and I think I'm going to pull this out a little bit. And let's see, let's grab this, maybe just pull it a little bit out, pull a little bit out, go into edge mode. Let's connect that real quick, add that, pull that around it a little bit more, so on and so forth. So I've got kind of that edge loop in there, and then I'm going to fix this one here. So grab this, we're going to go into here, I'm going to pull up this a little bit more so it's a little bit tighter, kind of like so. And so this here is going to stick out like so, and then we're going to actually, let's do this here like so, and let's rotate that to the side like so. Let's move this a little bit closer to the nose like that, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to get out of that mode, grab this one, and I'm going to just kind of do the same thing. So I'm going to go into the vertices. These are probably these right here. Let's invert this selection. So these are pulled out, these are rotated over like so, and then these are, let's rotate them a little bit more and pull them back like so. So now with all this stuff in mind, I'm going to grab one of these and I'm going to start attaching everything else. And the reason I'm attaching everything else is because now, except for the eye, is now because I have my base of my face, right? And so then let's start kind of stitching these together. And I've hotkeyed, what's it called, collapse. And so I'm just kind of collapsing some of the ones that are relatively close so that it makes sense. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to grab this and let's connect that, and let's move that slightly over here. And sometimes it's just, sometimes it's a little tweaking, and that's all it is. I'm going to go into edge mode here. Bridge is not part of this, so I'm just going to bridge. Why did that not bridge? There's one. There's two. And let's see here. So let's add connect. Oops. All right. One. And you see when I'm bridging this stuff, I'm not like, I'm just trying to like put things together so that it makes sense. Connect. And so grab this one and this one, collapse that. And let's grab these two pieces and collapse that, but let's move this up a little bit more. Go into edge mode here, hold, I think it's shift, bring that up a little bit, and then let's bring that further up like so, and let's bring that up again. So again, we go into vertice mode, collapse, collapse, ooh, no, collapse, and then so on and so forth. So then with this, once I've got this mode here, so I'm going to go into edge again, grab this one, 1, 2, 3, let's collapse, 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 oops, I have a tendency to just hold in control and not worry about that. Okay, so, and again, when you make stuff, fix it. Like, don't just leave it hanging there. Don't just kind of let it adjust. But actually go through and fix it. So here we're going to need more geometry. So let's connect this and let's run that a little bit more. And let's see here. So let's go into bridge. I just have to remember I got a meeting at 1, so, and so we've got that in there. Let's go here, and let's connect that. And again, when I do stuff, make sure you go in and kind of adjust things. So you see me adjusting my face, you see there we go. And it's simple fixes. I'm not spending a ton of time on it. I'm just getting kind of that look and feel. And so all I'm going to do is pick kind of a, I'm going to just pick kind of a profile here. Oops. And let's do this again. I'm going to just pick this, and I'm going to put this off to the side just for kind of reference. And that's all it's going to be is reference here. And so I've got that. So let's grab these two, collapse those. And what else we got here? Got this empty spot I got to fill up. I got to deal with the nose. So let's deal with the nose. So let's go here. Bring it out, which also comes in. So I'm going to bring it there. And then I'm going to bring it out and in. And then in. Let's rotate it like so. So you can see here that I've added more geometry than I have, but that's okay. I'm going to grab this piece here, and I'm going to hold shift down and bring it down a little bit. And then that gives me a bridge from here to here. All right. And let's do, oops, let me just minimize this off to the side so I can see stuff. And so, as you can see here, I've essentially built up, which I actually broke this, so I'm going to need to fix this real quick. Let's cut this and go here, control backspace, and go here and control backspace. Okay, so this is all fixed, and let's grab this one. And you can see I'm just cleaning up these little edges. You know, I'm not, nothing's perfect, nothing, it's very, very simple, very, you know, as you can see, it's very rough. And let's do this. So let's grab this, bring it up over here, let's go into edge mode, grab this, ring it, oops, here we go, and let's connect. Oh, that's weird. That's not cutting, so let's figure out why it's not cutting. Okay, so if it's not cutting, sometimes we have to go through and so I'm just going to bring some of this stuff up and over, and that's why it's not cutting, because I didn't collapse it yet. And let's see here, probably the same thing. No? Okay. So this now gives me ample geometry to collapse this stuff. So I'm going to bring out this. And again, it's really rough geometry, and I'm okay with that. And so on and so forth. So let's see here. We need to have a little bit more geometry in here. So let's bridge here. Let's try and figure out what's a good way to do this. So sometimes, alright, so here and here, and I'm going to hold shift down, and I'm going to bring that down, and that's going to be my cheekbone. I'm going to actually rotate it just a hair, and I'm going to leave it where it is, but that is going to give me these two pieces. And I'm going to collapse that, and then this piece back here, and I'm going to collapse that. Kind of make the edge flow work. And then let's see here. So let's go into edge here. Let's bridge from here to here. Let's go in and grab these three and connect them. And then that gives me a bridge. I really should do a hotkey for this, but So there's that. And I don't like the way this is, so let's go here, grab that, connect that, and by connecting that, okay, my goal is to not have any, to make this strictly quads. So I'm going to move this over here, kind of average it out, and I have a triangle here. So in order to kind of achieve something that's not a triangle, I'm going to add more geometry, but I'm going to add more geometry here. So I'm going to connect there, and I'm going to actually kind of go in my mode here, just kind of round this out. And I'm going to move this up a little bit, like so. And then with that in place, I'm just going to actually, this and cap. All right, so there's that. And let's fix this one up here. So I'm going to bring this, and we're just going to bring it up. And I'm going to have to smooth this out here, and the easiest way to smooth things is basically turn it into a plane and rotate it. So I'm going to boot that, and I'm going to bring it up again, like so. Move this forward, move this forward as well. Bring this slightly down. Actually, let's grab this and ring it and connect it and move that up. Let's grab that. And then we can grab these two, ring them, connect them. I really kind of regret not having a hotkey for all these, but that's okay. And you can see I'm collapsing these in here. And finally, let's grab these two, ring, connect. And let's just bridge A to B and B to C. Here we go. All right. And then I just got to fix the nose, and the nose is essentially I want to add more geometry in here. So in order to add more geometry, I'm going to have to cut from here. Oops. Like so. And you can see here this is it makes a triangle, and so let's just do target weld from here to here for now. And grab this one, let's bring that out a little bit more. And then let's go in so that's going to go out like so, and then up. And this is going to go over, and we are going to go this level, And let's go here. Let's see if we can ring that. Yes, that rings very nicely. And let's connect it one more time. And let's go into vertice, collapse. And so this is just basically the nose, and I'm not going to worry about putting a hole in there right now, but you can see in a matter of a few minutes I have a face. And I'm going to turn this one into perspective, and I'm going to turn X-ray off, and I'm going to get rid of this god-awful pink. And so you can see in a matter of a few minutes I basically created a face. Now it doesn't look like much, it's very low poly, but if I turn on the NURBS smoothing groups, you can see that it starts ringing out kind of where I need things to change. So I'm going to go into polygon mode here and start tweaking things accordingly. And so, you know, you don't need to spend a ton of time to put a lot of geometry to make something simple. You just need to think about things a little bit beforehand. And that's kind of the point is, you know, when I started modeling, and I was nowhere near like good. I mean, I had really ugly models. You know, but I would plan out my stuff. I would sit down and I would actually draw up kind of the line work of everything and get that idea of how things actually worked. And so I think that's what made me a better modeler was, you know, I actually sat down and I took the time to plan these things out. And it sounds really stupid, but like I actually sat and planned like the whole edge flow of, you know, the face, you know, muscle groups, all of that information. I planned all that out. And so when it came time to kind of develop the geometry and those little bits and pieces, I already had the hard part done. All I had to do was, you know, like I had no problem solving. It was all about it was all just about, you know, me sitting down and kind of problem solving this stuff. And I think that was the biggest issue that I had was I just had to problem solve. I didn't have to like go through and you know, think of overall like just different, you know, when I ran into a problem it was already there. And I can actually kind of show you guys some of that problem solving here. But you can see here, like I've started with something very simple, and I've got, you know, in a matter of, you know, what is it, 30 minutes, I've got something pretty complex. And it's, you know, just I've got this face and oops, and let's see here. Let me turn this off, this on, and let's go to the top level. So you can see, you know, I've got, you know, the base face mask here, and it's, you know, it's flat, it's got some issues, but it's really easy to fix. You know, I don't have a ton of geometry in there. You know, I've got, you know, nothing for geometry, so I can actually go into this really quickly and start pulling things apart. You know, I've got, looking at, you know, my side view, I'm going to just start tweaking these things a little bit, and that's when I add more geometry. So if I go into the X-ray mode and I look at this, and I'm going to go in and unfreeze all, and let's grab this and freeze that back again. So I'm going to go here and let's just hide for now. hide selection. And so you can see, all right, now I need to kind of go in and clean up things. So let's start grabbing this, and I can start by adding in a real quick edge loop. And with that edge loop in mind, I can grab that border. And actually this is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to ring that. I'm going to connect it once, and I'm going to slightly pull it out. So that's going to give me my lip for my loop here. And that's also going to give me a plane here. So I'll go in 4, and I hit delete. And that's going to give me some edges here to work with. So I'm going to just grab these and start pulling these down. And I can add more geometry down the road here. You know, that's not the issue. The issue is, you know, getting the right kind of look and feel. And so, again, you know, you can see here, I need to clean up, you know, back here. This doesn't feel like it goes far enough back, so I need that kind of angle look here. I grab this, start pulling this back too, probably making something like that. And it's all about edge flow too. So you see this edge here, I'm going to scale this edge down and tighten it down like so, and that's going to give me kind of that, you know, very simple, very easy feel. And so you can see now when I start looking at it from the side, you know, these are things that are prominent. I'm going to grab this geometry here and just start pulling it out. Grab this geometry here, and I don't know what I want to do with this. Maybe keep it here. And so as I'm working on this, as I'm slowly like building this up, you know, it's just a matter of grabbing the bits and pieces. And so you can see this is kind of like, let's scale, like the flow doesn't feel right. So I want to grab this piece here, and let's just move it slightly backwards. And so I've got my brow ridge here, something like this. Let's kind of go up here, kind of flow this down, and I'm just trying to find the way things kind of fit together. Where the edges, the little bit that I have, now I've got to figure out how it's going to flow. And so you can see, let's pull some of that like so. And so I've got, let's pull some of that back here, but let's pull this forward. And again, I'm only working with, you know, honestly, let's hit 7. I've got 274 verts in this alone. Well, actually, probably less if I turn on the total selection thing here. So I've got 156 verts in a face. And, you know, I can subdivision them out to double it. And I don't need to do that because of the organic modeling. You know, so, you know, that's the big thing to kind of worry about. And now I'm going to grab this edge loop here, and I'm going to scale this, getting it a little tighter here. Grab this edge loop here, scale this. And just so you guys know, if you guys are trying to chat with me, you need to register with Twitch. I think it's real easy. Just log in with Facebook. Just so you know. So if you guys are trying to chat with me or something like that, you know, feel free to ask me questions. But without an account, you cannot ask me questions, I guess. But so, you know, and then that's all I'm doing is I'm just tweaking. I spent, you know, I pre-planned everything a little bit. I thought about it a little bit. and that's it. Just tweaking now. I'm just kind of going in and adjusting my face where I need it to. I think I'm going to pull some of this back here to give it a little bit more look and feel, like so. And again, just NURM it out, and so you get a real simple. And if you want to add more NURMs, you can always add more. It's not going to really change the polygon so much. So you can see here, there's that done. All right, so the next thing is let's fix this eye ridge up here. So we go into edge mode, we ring, let's connect again, and let's start adding bits and pieces. So the upper eye, and let's go here, the upper eye basically pops out a little bit more. This is where that skull ridge comes and where kind of the eyebrow kind of comes. So I'm just kind of pulling some of that out. And so I'm just pulling that out like so. And some of this stuff I'm going to pull in because it's going to sink into the socket. And that's where just kind of looking at these little things like this. Ooh, and you can see where I did not connect two pieces. So let's connect those together. And so we got like so, right? And then when I NURM it, I should have a little bit more of a ridge there. Let's go into this and start pulling this in a little bit tighter. And I can add more geometry in there, but honestly, there's not much of a point. I can do what I need to do with the little bit that I've got in here. So we got that. So now I'm going to fix the nose. So the nose is ugly and we need to fix it. A big thing is kind of go in with the edge loops here. And you can see the edge loop kind of flowing around. So let's add in edge loop, connect, and then this is where I tighten up some of this geometry. So I'm going to go here, and just so you know, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to head this up. And I'll continue this next week, Friday. I'm trying to get more time to, actually do this in 3D. I was thinking Wednesdays I was going to do a little bit more concept art, which is something I enjoy a little bit more than... Oh, wait. Looks like, let me just check something. And let me grab this off to the side here, over here. And let me just answer this back. All right, so keep that off to the side here. And so you can see here, I'm just grabbing this stuff here and starting to kind of make that edge loop. Oops, and this is where I need to so I'm going to grab this one here, and we're going to grab this. It's Slightly move that up a little bit more edge flow, get that loop going in there. And so something along the lines like this. And I keep needing to keep. All right, so let's grab these, and you can see these are have a lot of geometry in there actually. So let's add more geometry. So let's go into edge here, grab this, loop this. I don't like it's kind of a weird loop. So let's fix this loop here. So I'm going to go to cut. Let's bring this back. And that's going to come out slightly. And so now I have two triangles here. And actually it's so if you go into selection by polygon greater or less than, so you can see my two triangles here, and that's actually a really simple fix. So we cut that here, and let's go back to edge mode, and let's pull that out. So, and then grab this, and let's pull that in, and let's go back a little bit, and that's going to start giving us the kind of loop feeling here. And so one of the things that you can see, you know, like, and it's all about how you perceive things. So you can see here that if I move this slightly over, and if I move this slightly down, like so, and even this one. So I've got, let's grab that. Like that. And so you can see that I've got that loop going on. And then let's grab this one, and I'm going to grab and push this up a little bit more, and I'm going to grab this and push it down a little bit more. So you can see, let's pull that back a little bit. And so again, you can see, you know, it's really big and bulbous now, but if I just kind of start tweaking some of this a little bit more, I can get, let's go X, so you can see this. And so, but now I've got at least some geometry in there to kind of play around with and kind of tweak around. And again, there's a lot more that needs to be put in here. You know, I grab this piece here and just kind of pull that back, and that rounds the nose out a little bit. I'm going to grab these and kind of tighten them in. Grab this and tighten it together. Grab this and tighten it like so. Grab this and pull it a little bit back, and you can see how I can easily shape that nose. And I don't have a ton of geometry in there. It's not about the amount of geometry, it's about how I use what I've got. And so with that in mind, and then it's like right up here you can see that the brow is indented, and that's not that pretty. So I'm just going to kind of round this out here. So like that. And again, let's turn that off. And so you can see, you can obviously see like imperfections in, the form when we do this. And those imperfections are the things that you need to fix. Like right here, I've got a good eye socket going on, and it's like this because you can see a lot of the geometry. So it's really big geometry spread out, and it's pushing it together. But like right up here, that doesn't look natural. And if you want, so I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna add a mirror in there, and actually no, I'm not gonna do it there. Well, I'm gonna add it as an instance, and I'm gonna say OK, and so just make sure that is, so you can see that's kind of leaned up, and so you can see like when I look at it like this, I'm not like, there's a lot of issues. So, like looking at it here, the chin is way too pointy. There needs to be more definition in the lips. The nose, I think, is a little bit too wide. So let's push that together a little bit more. The cheekbones need a little bit more work on it. So, and it's just simple things like this, and that's identifying marks that you just need to kind of go and kind of play with. So you can see here that, so let's see here, front. So from a front standpoint, I'm going to just bring this over here. So she's actually angled a little bit, and that's why it's kind of off. And that and her face is a little bit, let me look here, a little bit angled. I think that's the big issue. But so let's clean some of this up. So the geometry here, we go in the vertices, and we're going to grab this here, and we're going to actually kind of add in, let's pull in some of this, and so that's going to give me, and so you can see where the geometry is too, and I'm going to do something to fix that. So I'm going to just grab everything here, and I'm going to scroll down and go into the auto smooth, and we're going to just auto smooth by 180, and so that's going to get rid of a lot of that, ucky polygon look. And so let's start, so let's pull this a little bit. I said the chin was too pointy, so it's pointy because I think it just goes too far out, so let's pull that forward a little bit more. That goes a little bit forward, and go into edge mode so I can see things a little bit better. Let's pull some of this out a little bit more. So this is, and you can see just by pulling some of that little bit of that information, it helps quite a bit. And then let's add in let's add in, like, the jawline here needs some work. So I need to add more geometry in there. I just need to figure out where's a good place to add it. And I like the fact that, so if I look at my edge looping here, I want to keep, I can either like redo this so that it comes down a little bit more. So I got to play with it a little bit here. So and I just think I don't know. I have to think about it a second here. And this is, you these are things that you run into and you're just like, well, what do I want to do here? Um, so, but even still, adding in that little bit of you know uh, information, changing this. Let's go X. You can see like think the head is a little bit too pointy, so we need to pull some of that out a little bit, and that can be as simple as there we go. As simple as just not like that, but just simply drawing that out just a hair. And I'm going to just cut. So I'm cutting from here to here to here. And then I'm going to cut from here to here to here. And so it doesn't seem like much, but grab this one. Let's collapse that one together. Grab this one. Hold on. Let's grab this, and I'm going to backspace that out. And then I'm going to grab this here and just kind of push that together a little bit. And so I like the idea a little bit more. I think that, so I'm going to just grab this. And if I just pull out a little bit more, and so now I get that nice edge flow going down there. And as I mentioned before, I thought the nose was a little bit big. And so I'm going to grab this information here. My cat wants love. Yeah, my little girl. She's my shadow. Alright, so I'm going to grab this. Oops. Shift C. And yeah, she woke up and now she wants the loves. Alright, and so I'm just pulling in some of that information. And let's grab some of this. Yeah. Alright. Alright, now the real talent is modeling with one hand while the cat climbs on me. Here. Let's see here. So we're going to go back up to scale. I'm going to scale that a little bit, and I'm going to grab this and move just a little bit wider and start pulling some of this like so. And alright. Yeah. Now the girl wants some treats, I think. So I don't know, cats are better behaved than the kids are. Or at least they're more predictable. Alright. Alright. And give me a second and I'll be right back. Somebody wants some food, I think. Otherwise, she ain't gonna let me go. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I have to feed the kitties. Alright, and so, like I said, let's move this up here. Let's kind of clean that up. I kind of like that line there. And some of this stuff, like, okay, so you can see here, I've got nice edge flow back here, so on and so forth. And, you know, I can go in and, you know, I can go in and I can definitely play with things a little bit more. There's a ton of more information that I can play with. You know, 90% of this is just tweaking now, and that's what I'm going to need to kind of adjust and play. But if I want to add in more information, you know, it's just a matter of, so like for this intensive purpose, I'm going to go here, grab this, and actually let's fix this one little piece here. So just kind of add in like this, and then I'm going to go into the edge mode, grab that edge, and just start pulling back. I'm going to scale it a little bit on top here. So I'm going to go into the vertices and grab this and kind of start pulling out, rotating. And the key is to not get these like peaks going on, so I need to grab like these. And then, so basically just a matter of going in and you know what, I want to play with my lips a little bit here, so I'm going to grab these and start pulling these down. And so you can see how just by simply grabbing a couple of these here, like so, and when I run into little things like this, go into edge mode, loop it, and connect. And so that just, you can see how just doing one little loop in there, I'm not trying to add a ton of geometry. Because the more geometry that you have to fight with, the more geometry that you are basically having to deal with. Like, it's just not worth it from a technical standpoint. Like, your computer has to work harder. And so you can see that edge loop right there. And let's grab that, and we can actually chamfer this. And so I just chamfered that a little bit, and now I'm going to have weird geometry here, so I'm going to grab that loop. There we go. And so you can see this is kind of a weird, like I want more geometry going around it. So, but again, you can see, you know, I'm starting to get much more of those lips in there, and then I can start building up. So I'm going to build out. I don't know, I don't like that. I don't like the way chin is. So I'm going to, I think the chin is way too pointy, so I'm just going to kind of work with these different pieces here. And sometimes I'll just kind of move things out like that. And so that gives me a little bit of a chin. And again, let's look at the mouth. I think if I want, the lip is good. Maybe a little bit more upper lip. Push this one up a little bit more. I can also grab all of that and kind of pull that out. And so let's add in, let's add in the ring here and do another connect. And kind of pull that out a little bit, flatten that out. And let's grab that loop and let's chamfer that one. And that gives me a ring around the eye. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just adding little bits of pieces that kind of push that geometry a little bit more. And so let's pull this back a little bit. So I'll grab these two and kind of pull that back a little bit. And let's unhide all. And let's unfreeze all. So let's actually freeze selection. So this is here, and you can see that the eye doesn't really connect around it. So I need to basically go in the eye here and go into the vertices and start grabbing some of these just to start pulling like so. And then I'm going to grab all of this here and start pulling some of that back in. And this is where I just need to kind of pay attention to like so. Maybe pull these two out just a hair. And so that fits the eye much better now. And then what I'm going to do is grab the loop here, like so. Hold shift and pull that in once. And then I'm going to actually pull it in again. And then I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go into bridge, and I'm going to bridge let's see here, so bridge, come on here, all right. There we go. Let's try that again. So bridge, like so, and I'm going to go into let's just chamfer that like so. Bring that over and bring that back. Alright, so with that in mind, I pretty much have most of my face done, or as far as, you know, pretty well created here. And next week I think I'll do the ear for it. So I'll show you guys how to do an ear. And we'll try and do it as less geometry as possible. But you don't need more than an hour to work on a face, and it's just a matter of you understanding your polygon count and working on that aspect. All right, I hope that helps you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know.